Chag Sameach. Yom Yerushalayim, Jerusalem Day, 28th day of Iyar, is the day that corresponds to June 7th, 1967. It's a modern day holiday of miracles. It's the day that we commemorate the successful liberation of Jerusalem, eternal capital of the Jewish people, by the Israel Defense Forces during the Six-Day War. And who could deny this incredible miracle in our time, this incredible act of reconciliation of the Holy One, blessed be He, reaching out to His people and returning the city of Jerusalem to the people of Israel. Jerusalem that was never a capital for any people in the world other than the Jewish people. Jerusalem, whose very name is the synonym of holiness and sanctity and light in the world. And here, this is the secret of what Jerusalem is all about. We're standing at the site, the foot of the Holy Temple itself. And right here, we see the place of the trumpet blasts that stood at the very top corner of the Holy Temple complex, from where the Kohanim would blow the silver trumpets and announce the arrival of Shabbat and the new moon. And all around me are evidence of the destruction of Jerusalem and the Holy Temple in the year 70. We see the piles of rubble. We see the stones that were knocked down by the Roman soldiers on Tisha B'Av, the 9th day of Av, in the year 70. And they still have scorch marks and burn marks, signs of destruction. But you know, the way that I look at this, and especially how we can feel it so strongly on Jerusalem Day, this is not destruction. This is not evidence of Churban. This is the seed of redemption. Just as any seed has to be planted and it has to go back into the earth afterwards, from that sprouts the most beautiful and miraculous life. This is the seed of the temple. And the sages of Israel saw this. And even the Kohanim that were serving in the temple, the very day of the destruction of the temple, the day that they were slaughtered on Tisha B'Av, they saw this day, they saw us standing here today in united Jerusalem, the capital of the people of Israel, and they saw that we are very, very close to the rebuilding of the Holy Temple. And that's what Jerusalem Day is all about, the modern miracle that's going on in our time. So the sages of Israel tell us in the most beautiful midrash, they tell us the historical fact that the temple was destroyed on a Saturday night. And the midrash tells us this very moving description of how the Leviim stood atop the altar and they sang the song of the day. And the song that they sang was, God of vengeance, shine forth. And you know, we have a tradition that we know on each day of the week which psalm the Levitical choir sang in the Holy Temple. So the Midrash tells us that as the flames engulfed them and as they were being slaughtered, they were singing the song, O God of vengeance, shine forth. But the funny thing is, that song is the song of Wednesday, and the temple was destroyed on a Saturday night. So all these years, everybody thought that the reason behind this, and what the Midrash is conveying, is that the Leviim were calling out to God for vengeance on His enemies, that they would like to see the day when God's name is unified, sanctified, and that He takes vengeance on His enemies. God of vengeance, shine forth. But it's only in our time that we can appreciate a much deeper level of meaning to this enigmatic Midrash. Because the fact is that June 7th, 1967, the miraculous day in which Jerusalem was reunited under Jewish sovereignty for the first time in almost 2,000 years, that day was a Wednesday. And so really what the Leviim were seeing in the future, they saw the next step in the redemption of Israel. They saw the next step in the rebuilding of the temple would occur on a Wednesday, June 7th, 1967. That day, the day that Jerusalem is reunited, we would be coming so much closer to the new era of building the temple, and that is the day that the saga would continue. That is the next step in their divine service here in the Holy Temple, also on a Wednesday, because our era is a continuation of the divine mission of the Jewish people to build the Holy Temple and bring the light of the divine presence into the world. This is the true meaning of Jerusalem Day, the holiday of our time, the holiday that most emphatically proclaims the intensity of the relationship between the people of Israel and the God of Israel, the day that Jerusalem was returned to us, and the day which is the next stepping stone in the saga of the rebuilding of the Holy Temple.